I was listening to the playlist you upload on Mixcloud, and suddenly found myself wondering why you haven't been posting on Instagram lately. I saw you created a new account today, so I followed you. Nice to reconnect. I received a reply to the email I sent to E a while ago. I messed up the age verification, and even after sending my ID, the account got deleted. It said, "I'll see you at the new place." I found myself lingering on the tiny typo for a moment, and then I put on E's playlist. E used photos she had taken as playlist covers, and those images always carried a quiet kind of beauty. One, for instance, a translucent raincoat hanging under indoor lighting, set against a grey brick wall. The hood, slumped and lifeless, caught the light and glowed faintly, while the sleeves remained fixed in the shape it had been left in, as if still remembering a body. About 12 minutes into the 58-minute runtime, a live version of Grace Under Pressure by Elbow began to play. Around then, my laptop screen slipped into its screensaver. Against a black background, abstract digital curves emerged, dissolved, and transformed in a living, shifting pattern. As I watched, I suddenly felt, perhaps because of that blackness, that the world beyond the monitor resembled outer space. If those curves were galaxies, then within them there would be stars and planets too. Perhaps somewhere among them was the new place E had mentioned. With that thought, I reached for my glass of water, but brushed the mouse instead. In that instant, the universe that had just existed on the surface of the monitor turned away and disappeared into another world. Long ago, people who lived here believed that traces of the universe flow through the palms of their hands, and that we were part of the Buddha. As they traced each line, the light gathered along these creases must have guided them unmistakably in certain directions. But now, have we rubbed our palms too much? What remains is a smooth surface, as if the lines have disappeared entirely. And yet, I can still clearly remember the sensation of feeling them. So where have these lines gone? And the universes that once resided within them? Unfortunately, that universe had already gone bad long ago. Flashing red, green, and blue lights flickered in a frantic display. But if anything, they only emphasized how tacky this universe really is. Just outside this cramped, barely 1 square meter space in Lewisham, people passed by on the street, and the crumpled newspaper underfoot, shaped by their steps, strangely resembled paper airplanes. The truly mysterious things were happening not inside, but outside. Inside, the palm reader told me there was a woman and a man who went around speaking ill of me. He said he would pray on my behalf. so that these people wouldn't become a threat. For a moment, I found myself trying to guess who they might be. Then I stopped and walked out of the universe. The next day, as I passed in front of Lewisham Shopping Center, a group of people were handing out flyers to passerby. Among them was the man in the blue padded jacket who read my palm the day before. Our eyes met as I walked by, but he pretended not to recognize me. I turned back and took one of the flyers he was handing out. He passed it to me with a slightly awkward look. I told him I wanted to recommend it to a friend. That was a lie. I see the dark, powered-off monitor. My face is reflected faintly in the black screen. It looks thirsty, and the glass beside me is empty. As I pour water into it, a train passes by outside a wide open window. At its speed, the air around it compresses for a moment, and even from several meters away, my ears dull slightly. It feels strange in a way that something that has never touched me can still affect my body. And yet, I realize how many elements of this world, things that have long surpassed physical contact, are already taken for granted. Why does this, of all things, feel so strange? That too feels strange. My reflection in the dark screen feels oddly unfamiliar. So I turned the laptop on. To unlock it, I need Touch ID. I place my right index finger on the trackpad. I feel nothing, and the screen opens. When I arrived at Schiphol Airport, I noticed a new system had been introduced. It hadn't been there when I came last September. So something had changed in less than a year. Still, these kind of things have become so familiar to everyone that they hardly feel remarkable anymore. Following the signs for the European Entry System, EES, I came to a row of machines. There, I scanned my passports, registered my fingerprints, and had my face photographed all by myself. When I finished and went downstairs, I had to stand in line once again to pass through the manned immigration desks. The machine must have chewed up the fingerprints I placed on its scanner and turned them into data, storing them somewhere, at least for the time being. Then what, I wondered, is the officer sitting inside that immigration booth doing? Is he going to read my palm? Tell me which direction my life should take? Of course not. He will glance at his screen, look at me, ask a few tedious questions, and let me through. I was bored waiting in line, so I watched the couple in front of me, kissing each other's faces, on the lips, the cheeks, the forehead. Then one of them plants a kiss on the other's glasses. The one wearing glasses complains and tries to wipe it with her sleeve. I step half a pace closer and stop them, speaking up. May I take a look for a moment? Startled, she asks me what I mean. I tell them I like to see the imprint left on the glasses. After a brief hesitation, she reluctantly hands them over. A faint trace of lips remains in the glass, blurred, translucent. Not on the eye, but on the surface of the lens. Can there be a hierarchy between the two? Both hold affection and playfulness. I found myself thinking about the membranes and surfaces that exist between us and others. For some, a digital entity becomes their guru. A rare live performance video appears online. That alone is enough for someone to offer endless gratitude. To hope the uploader is doing well. On the same page, someone remembers the face of a loved one watching the sea. Someone else survives a crushing commute, waiting for the percussionist's familiar smile. Another recalls late conversations about electronic music with his father. People leave these words like confessions. Small offerings pressed into a screen. And sometimes these digital gurus vanish without warning. When that happens, I feel not only the loss of a place to stand, but also a strange concern for all the others left behind there. All those unseen people I will never know. Beneath the surface, unrelated images overlap and drift past one another, like a kiss left upon the surface. These days, I go to the school library and excavate the faint traces people have left behind in books. A Peroni beer label, a nail tip, a train ticket from Aix-en-Provence to Montpellier, a clothing tag with Hebrew on it. These strange, not quite bookmarks carry their own humor and spark the imagination. The act of imagining alone opens up a different dimension of time. The reason it feels perfectly natural for the school library to be open 24 hours is that it is a place where one can move freely between layers of time at any moment. Bookmarks, index tabs, and underlines are gestures of intention, a will to return someday to a particular passage. As fragments of the past that once caught someone's attention and could not simply be passed over are revisited in the present, perhaps one day my future self will have drawn something from its depth. That too is one of the possible new places we might arrive at. As a child, my favorite game to play on it was Animal Crossing. Nearly a decade later, as an adult, I turned it on again out of curiosity. My character was exactly as I had left it. Beside me, my brother's character was still lying asleep. Using my own character's body, I looked at it for a long while. He would probably never wake up again. And I knew I would never log in as him either.